Hello, TikTok Live. So we've had quite a few TikToks on about the last sort of 3 or 4 months. So just like if any are interested, we'll just give a quick look at plot, where we do it, some of the stuff we've done and some of the stuff that we're going to do. It's a new plot to us. In January will be my 3rd year. It's a work in progress, but unfortunately you didn't see it at the beginning because I think there were 4 or 5 skips full of rubbish come off this when we first got it.
Yeah.
So yeah, down here we've got some plantings, what we did. Things to pick up on here, I suppose, is deadheading and cutting back. It's these salvias. In middle of October here now, they're everywhere. And because we cut them back, we're still getting a nice flushy colour in October. And same with that little verbena there, Dan. It's the little verbena lollipop. Yeah. So this is just a bit of planting I've just started. The intentions of this is to get it quite a woodlandy area, so a bit of a walk through with this mulch path. As I said, there were nothing here before really. We'll have a quick look at greenhouse, Dan. We will do quite a few other TikToks in here. Yeah, so we've got quite a few bits in here now in October. Really, some cuttings we've done. Always trying something different, so I planted a load of winter onions outside. I put some into pots in here to try different ways with them. We've got 5 what are in perlite, vermiculite, and a few of them little clay beds, just as opposed to trying with compost. And these are actually leaf mould, what they're in, and they're just topped off with a bit of perlite. So they're just something I'm going to grow in here through winter, see what results we get. Loads of different cuttings, always taking cuttings. There's Californian lilacs, euonymus, some of the small goldcrest conifers there. There's some chives mixed in there, what I grew from seed. The old money plants, which we grow up and use for bonsaiing. Getting a collection of penstemons, which I will show you. There's a few cuttings there off the penstemons. There's some Pieris cuttings, and we're trying different ways of rooting stuff. I'm always trying different ways. So in here we've got some oxygenated water, which is done off a little solar panel down to 2. This is a dual one, so there's 2 air pumps in that water. If you can see there, Dan. You can see it fizzing away. Lavender cuttings, they're just rooting and they're just in perlite. They're just in a straight tray of perlite. It's pitcher plants. Always keep going with them. Eventually I want to get them into one of them Belfast sinks outside and make a bit of a feature of them. Yeah, and flowering, we waited ages for them to flower. We've got some conifers which are growing on there for topiary next year, which we did do a TikTok where we did a spiral, didn't we? So there's different shapes and forms we'll be doing with those. There's large onions, which you'll have seen. We had, I think, £9 odd, £10 odd, what best we had. They're going back now. They've gone back into pots to go back to throw a stem up for seed for next year, so we keep the strain. And they're just rooting into the compost. Exhibition leeks, what we did, they've just been put into the buckets to get the roots again, and that's what we're looking for now. That's same as what we look for onions. They need potting, so that's the job for today. And they will be potted into these pots, the rose pots as we call them, because it gives you a longer profile with roots. Yeah. We'll stop in that till probably springtime, and then they'll go up into one of these buckets. What's under here? The buckets under here are, as I've been lifting my potatoes during the summer, select 2 or 3 potatoes out of each, put them back in here into the greenhouse, grow them on Christmas time. You'll not pick it up, but they are just starting to show there. So yeah, so this becomes a bit of a laboratory really. Winter, it's summer, winter type of thing. We're always trying different stuff. Let's just quick walk round beds. This area, I used to grow pumpkins and mimaras on. I'm going away from that now. I put a load of red clover green manure on this last winter. Yeah. And that's got dug in. What's the clover do? It's nitrogen fixing. So it's through the winter what you don't want, which this is at the moment, really trying to avoid bare soil. So whatever your crop you're putting in is better for holding your soil structure and your nutrients.
Yeah.
Even grass seed, will do it. So although I can't see it at the moment, this is well, you can see this collection of penstemons that's coming on there. I think we're on to about 20 odd varieties now, so hopefully that'll be doubled up at least for next summer. Some self-sets, some volunteers at the back, Boreensis, the verbena, and there is 15 kilos of daffodil bulbs being planted in here. 3 varieties, or narcissus, Winston Churchill, which is a white one, Tamara, which is yellow.
Yeah.
And then in this area between these wallflowers, there is some Devon red, which is yellow with a red centre. So that's that spring colour to fetch it in. Like I say, it's a work in progress. Also, obviously, that's more for pollinators and stuff like that, plus to give some colour. This edge here, which I think you will have probably seen before, this is a penstemon called Raven. These were all plants done this year. So they were all cuttings what were done February, March time of this year. So they've a really good vigorous one. And something a bit different for making an edge with penstemons.
It looks really well as well.
And it'll keep they'll keep green during winter. It's not deciduous. They're not herbaceous where they'll die back. They'll keep the colour and cut them back in spring. Dahlias, which are getting battered now because the winds that we have up here, so we're quite high up. They're what I had in show, all them varieties over there. So this week, I think, these will be getting cut back by half now, just to clean them up and get ready for putting them to sleep.
Ooh. It's a lovely bit of colour for this time of year as well, isn't it?
And all these paths, these were all grass seeded this year. And what I've done is on one of my raised beds, I've sown a load of grass seed as well. This is just like a surrogate.
Yeah.
So some of the areas that are patchy and I've reseeded but it still hasn't took, I'll use this like turf.
Yeah.
Just fill them bits in. So hopefully, it will happen. What we're looking for, what I want for next year is that all my paths are like these two. So a nice good thick sward, no gaps, and it looks like a green carpet.
Yeah, it's really well.
The cabbages were in this summer. This is where the giant cabbages were grown. I think there were 4 in here.
Yeah.
It's going to be onions next season. That's what's left of the marrow, what I cut up and put in there.
So why have you put that in there? Is there a reason or?
Yeah, it's to feed the biology, to feed the all the little animals that's in the soil.
Right.
Yeah, all the microbiology as that rots down. So I'm using it basically as a green manure.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it rots down really quick as well, the vines off marrows and squashes and pumpkins. So yeah.
Very good.
So that'll feed the worms. This plot as well, the vines off marrows and squashes and pumpkins. So yeah.
Very good.
So that'll feed the worms. This plot here, which there's one left. Again, that is, like I mentioned, that is a rocket, which is an early potato. That is some tubers from the crop, put back in, and that's the last of. This area here, which I grew taters in buckets, that were full of them this year, this is going to be for tomatoes next year.
Yeah.
So I'm going to do 2 or 3 different varieties of tomatoes in here as a sort of a trial. Probably things like Shirley, which have always been known as just a greenhouse tomato.
Yeah.
I'm starting to think you don't need it now. You don't need that greenhouse. If anything, it gets too hot for them now. So they're going to be grown outside and we're going to give that a whirl and we'll see what results of that are. The big marrow was in here. Like I say, not having bare soil, so the big marrow that's being used as a green manure, if you like, in there now, was in this bed. This has gone over to winter onions now. About 300. We do donate as much as we can, so a lot of these will be for donation April, May time.
Yeah.
Of next year. The bit of herbaceous border at the bottom, that wants a good tidy up and a good sort out. It's not really firing to where I want it to be yet, but we will do. We'll get there. Funnily enough, all that border there is just growing on rubbish.
Yeah,
it was just full of bottles, plastic bags, God knows what else. By the time I cleared all the way down and got to that, I'd lost the motivation to clear anymore.
Yeah.
So it got a bit of soil on it, some bark chippings, and it got planted. So really, it's a miracle that there's anything growing in there.
Yeah, and it looks absolutely stunning when it's in full pomp.
When it's in full pomp. The only problem with that is really at the moment, there's too much early flowering stuff, and it's not going through the summer. You know, it needs looking at, but I'll sort that out. The grapevines, the chrysanthemums, just in front of the grapevines, they're just coming into flower now.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I say, up here though, we do get absolutely battered by winds.
By winds, yeah.
So it's a case of trying to stop them looking too straggly. They mainly just get cut and they'll go on for some cut flowers. The grapes, which won't coming off now, I think they're going to go for making wine this year.
Yeah, it's no point in wasting them, is there?
But they need cutting ASAP, really. A couple of apples, what are training as step overs. Just down here outside at grapes. No special variety, them. I think it's one called Limelight.
Yeah.
Yeah, just training them in like that. And obviously, once the wood, the stems, branches turn woody, they'll stop. You know, they won't spring back.
Yeah.
Strawberries, what I cleaned up, they were fuel, Dan. Forgot to tell you about them.
Yeah.
So they're the runners I took off. I've just sealed them in because I don't see Dan during the week because he's got work commitments and stuff. So they're there for you to take.
Yeah, we've got a bed ready for them, actually.
This will be more roses next year. I'm going to have more roses and lavender to this bed. Yeah. And the roses, they're just on the last push. Yeah. Beans, they're about done now. They want taking out. What I won't do with the beans is I don't take the roots out because the legume family, so the nitrogen fixing, I always leave the roots in and just take the top growth off.
I tell your beans as well, always, when everybody else seems to be on the last legs, yours always looking full romp. I mean, look at flowers still. It's
a strange one, that. I think it's just the actual orientation of the are.
Yeah.
You know, that they're getting the best of the sun, but they do. But they were all started in the soil outside at Cairns. I just planted the actual bean seed. You know, a lot started off in greenhouses, in cell trays, whatever. They were started first week in June by just planting seed outside at Cairns, 2 seed to a cane, and then away they go. So yeah, plenty of water when they're small as well. Get them.
Yeah.
You can't really give beans enough water. That's the thing. Nitrogen. They love nitrogen. So yeah, some more chrysanthemums. Some wallflowers, again, for spring colour. Loads of these planted up all over now, knocking about. Cost me like £2, £3 for them all, so why not, you know. I hate seeing it bare, you know, it's not good for bare soil. Try and keep planting, keep some stuff going. Jerome collies, been an absolute nightmare, these, since I planted them. These were a spring collie. Got hammered with cabbage white butterfly.
Yeah.
So caterpillar. Got on top of that, and then we got infested with whitefly. So
yeah, I was saying to one of the other lads yesterday with a whitefly for this time of year as well. It's absolutely rife.
Yeah. But back in the day when we used to get winters, whitefly went. But I think it's getting through our winters now. You know, when you get good severe frosts, it stopped coming. But now, if you look at people who are growing like kale, sprouts, and it's absolutely, there's clouds of it on it now. No,
we just had a question to how do you stop your dahlias dying over winter?
Well, you lift your dahlias. They're a tuber, so you need to let them get to the first frost, sort of November time round here.
Yeah.
Then we'll lift the tubers. What I'll do is give them a good clean, turn them upside down to dry.
Yeah.
So moisture comes out. I give them a quick coating with yellow sulphate just to stop them getting mould and fungi on. And I wrap them in newspaper, keep them in a cool, frost-free place, dark place, store them over winter, and then these are set back off again in greenhouse to mid-February to March time to start getting cuttings. If you can't lift them, or for some reason you don't want to lift, you want to leave them in soil, then let them die back naturally. And what you can do is just give them a mulch.
Yeah.
And they should get through. Depending on where you are in the world, I suppose, they should get through then.
Yeah, yeah. Like, if you're getting severe winters, then obviously it's
best to lift them, yeah. So, yeah, I mean, there was some left in here last year, and I think we went down to about -3, -4 last year, and they've come back up. You know, but again, the nice deep planted, the mulched. You'll start seeing signs of growth end of April into May.
Yeah.
Again, that new growth, if you're getting late frost, you might need to just protect that with a bit of fleece or mulch.
Yeah.
Just keep that frost off them.
Yeah. I hope that answers your question, Ben.
Gladiolus. Again, these are the cormlets. They're the original stock of gladiolus, and then these are cormlets what I took off. So they were like pea size. Filled this bed up this year with them, and they're flowering, and we've still got odd spike coming on them.
Yeah.
So there's still a few more flowers yet. I'll be wanting to lift these pretty soon as well, clean them up again, get them something like dry and store them in a nice cool frost-free place over winter.
They've done really well as well for the first year, haven't they?
Yeah, they do. It's always worth lifting. If you're not lifting all your gladiolus, if you're risking leaving them over winter, lift one or two, take some of your bigger cormlets off, which is like a small bulb what's attached to the bulb.
Yeah.
Overwinter them, and you do get, and you get a lovely flower with these cormlets as well. So, yeah. What we got in here, that is some candy tuft, which we got free with a magazine.
Yeah.
So again, I sown them. Anything you're going to sow, it's trying best to sow it your back end stuff while you've still got a bit of warmth in the soil. So they were sown beginning of August under this Enviromesh cover here.
Yeah.
And then I pricked them out into this bed to fill this bed up. They'll flower April, May, and last a few wildflowers at end of there. So you've got what you got in there. You've got a bit of Icelandic poppy in there and a bit of calendula.
Yeah, cosmos is now gone, hasn't it? And it's done really well, this bed. This year we've had some good produce off it, haven't we?
Yeah, that's for his YouTube channel.
Yeah.
That was £20 bed, weren't it?
Yeah.
We grew all sorts of veg in there, tomatoes, celeriac, lettuce, beetroot, onions, other stuff I can't remember.
Yeah, there's quite a bit of stuff like that.
Spring onions and onions, other stuff I can't remember.
Yeah, there's quite a bit of stuff like that.
Spring onions, and I had a £20 budget, and I think we spent £10 of it. So yeah, and delphiniums here, Dan, again. You know, a lovely delphinium flowering in mid-October.
Yeah.
The reason being is it was cut hard back. You've got to be brave with them. When it had finished its first flower, cut it really hard back, and then we've got another late flower, so we've still got a bit of colour and something for bees. Yeah. Do we want a quick look on?
Yeah, shall we have a nip over to
the community one? So again, this is this allotment I've had 2 years, so I've had this a year less than that one roughly.
Yeah.
And this one is going to be for the old traditional allotment, so we're not having raised beds or anything on here. This is first year I've really got, or first month I've really got on and done any work on it to get it as the old traditional allotment, so we're not having raised beds or anything on here. This is first year I've really got, or first month I've really got on and done any work on it to get it as I want to, basically. So yeah, we've got all this area. It'll be the same at this side. Starting from here, all this growth and rubbish and whatnot is coming out, getting dug up. This discovery is coming out, this apple, that's getting moved. So I've got nice big clean area to be growing stuff in. All for donation, this, so all for different charities and social supermarket, all that type of thing. Me being me, I've just left that strip down there. That's going to be full of herbaceous plants. So all the way down there, yeah, which I've got 2 flocks to start it off with. Again, 2 good crops, good beds for overwintering onions. Side here down is some Savoy cabbage resolution under netting. We have to net everything on here because we have pigeons, pheasants, squirrels, cabbage white butterfly, white fly, yeah, every pest under the sun. So all this, I'm just reverse. I don't know if you'll pick it up, but from end of bed there up to about where I'm stood, I put all green manure in about a week and a half to a week ago, and these just bits of it starting to germinate now. Yeah, because we've had some wet weather and it's still quite mild. Today's an exception, it's cold today, but yeah. And there's a little net house there what I grew blanch leeks in this year.
Yeah.
Just cleared all that out now. That's I'm going to grow carrots in there next year because it's got enviromesh on it. So it'd be bucket in a bucket, and I'm growing my carrots next season.
Ooh.
This one's where we grew leeks. When the leeks come out, I stuck some later crops in. So I've got some cabbages and cauliflowers. Growing away in here, yeah.
They just amaze me every time I come in here.
This is all the bacteria driven, which I want all my gardening to go that way.
Yeah.
And not eventually, it's starting now, it's started. So yeah, so no chemicals. You know, it's all about getting your biology in your soils good, getting that stuff in your soils to grow them and using that biolift and that kind of thing. Then we've got late crops, lettuce in here and some potatoes, early potatoes, grown late.
Yeah,
getting ready for a water and all, it looks a bit.
Yeah.
So, it's like I say, it's a work in progress. Hopefully, as we keep doing as TikToks and as YouTube, you'll see it progress. You'll see it get better and better.
Yeah.
You anything, Dan?
No, that's it. I'd just like thank everyone for taking the time to watch and following us. And
definitely, yeah. I mean, we haven't been at it long. We've only been at TikTok since May.
Yeah.
We're getting a really good following. You know, we're getting some good views and that. So, yeah. And if you want to leave a comment, if there's anything you'd like us to have a look at,
yeah,
you know, as we're going through, just leave us a comment. Tell us where it is, and we'll get on it.
Yeah, more than happy to answer your questions.
Definitely, best we can. You know, we nobody knows everything with this game, but
no, that's it.
Yeah,
it's a learning curve, isn't it?
It definitely is, and it don't matter how long you've been doing it, you always learn.
That's it.
You know,
that's it. And like you say, 1 year from next year is never the same, really, is it?
No, there's a lot of variables. You know, weather's the main one, I suppose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, so shall we wrap it up at that?
Yeah.
Right,
yeah.
so
thanks for watching and
cheers.